Good morning and welcome back. It is time. The brackets are set. The playoffs are about to begin in the NBA. We are looking forward to a if the playoffs are anything like the play-in was, the playoffs are going to be fantastic yet again. The last few years have been great playoff basketball, and I'm just looking forward to all of this. This is going to be the best basketball that we've seen in this year because the NCAA tournament was awesome as well. So I can't say too much about that. But let's get it going. Let's talk about this bracket. So what are you all most excited about in this playoffs? What matchup, what games or what potential games are you guys excited about? Me personally, I am over the hill that the Miami Heat made the playoffs, even though I don't think we necessarily deserved it. But uh after the season we had, losing Jimmy Butler or getting rid of Jimmy Butler, however you want to look at that, and all the turmoil to kind of put it together towards the end of the season and rally and make the playoffs after being the 10 seed and the first number 10 seed to make the playoffs, may I add. So I'm excited about that. That's what I'm most excited about. So that's probably my biased opinion. But outside of that game, I do believe that the first game that not game, the first series that I'm really looking forward to would probably be, for me, I would say either Denver and the Clippers, because I think that could be interesting, especially with a healthy Kawhi Leonard. I think the Clippers have the total package of coach, players, and they're hot right now to actually beat Denver. So I think Denver should be on upset alert, if you want to call that an upset, because they're 4-5 record, nearly the same. So, but maybe it's not expected. And the other that I would say, just for me personally, I know others probably have different opinions on this, but speaking for myself, I would say the next one I'm excited about would probably be Houston and Golden State. And I'm interested to see what Jimmy does with Steph and Draymond out there. I know the Golden State Warriors are the favorites right now to win that series. They're not my favorites to win. They're the betting favorites to win. I think a lot of people are picking Golden State to win. Houston's young, sure. Houston is inexperienced, sure. But at the same time, they didn't get the number 2 seed for no reason. And I just believe that Houston's probably going to win this series in maybe 5 or 6 games. I don't really see 7. If it goes 7, Golden State probably will win, but I believe Houston will probably get it in 5 or 6. And I know that's decisive and whatnot, but hey, it's just my opinion. So some people are not going to like it, some people will. But which star player has the most at stake this postseason? And for me, the star player with the most at stake this postseason is more than likely most at stake. I would probably say that's actually a good question. Most at stake this postseason, looking at these matchups, maybe Jimmy Butler. Um, he forced his way out of Miami to get to Golden State. They managed to get into the playoffs at a number 7 seed. Steph doesn't have anything to prove. LeBron doesn't have anything to prove. Jokic doesn't have anything to prove. So it's like, which star player with the most at stake? Maybe LeBron, because if Steph gets his 5th title, then I know people are already talking about throwing him in the GOAT conversation and whatnot. So maybe LeBron has the most at stake. If he wins his 5th title, maybe people will put to bed that the whole GOAT conversation. I believe LeBron is the GOAT. So maybe if we can get past this, maybe if he wins another title, then that'll solidify it for people who don't believe it, that LeBron is the GOAT. He's going I don't know what he has to do, but whatever. So that's my opinion. The player with the most at stake, Jokic doesn't have anything at stake. They fired their coach. They made the playoffs at number 4 seed with the interim coach. I mean, there's only 3 games left, so they were going to probably make it anyways. Hell, Jokic is running plays for his team, drawing up stuff in timeouts and stuff. So who's really coaching the team at this point? Because I don't think it's David Outerman or whatever his name is. That's just the player with the most at stake is probably, if you look at it in totality, it's probably Jimmy Butler. Maybe you could say Jason Tatum or even Jaylen Brown if they can't, because Boston's going to have to break that thing up. I guess they don't have to. I guess they can just keep paying luxury tax, but they're going to have to break that thing up because they're very expensive in my opinion. So I don't really see that going into next season with that same starting five. I think they probably lose a piece or two, but they have pieces, young guys coming up. They're going to, the draft is coming, so they'll be fine. But yeah, I guess you could say those two. Karl Anthony Towns, he usually kind of bums it out in the playoffs or whatnot. He looked terrible last year in Minnesota, and Anthony Edwards did a lot of the heavy lifting for Minnesota when he was there, but he's with the Knicks now, and he has Jalen Brunson, but Brunson doesn't have anything to prove. Not the way he drugged the Knicks through the playoffs last year, injured, the whole team was beat up. So, I think that's pretty it right there where we talk about players with the most approved. Now, what under the radar team is there in this playoffs that will make some noise? And in my opinion, the under the radar team that could potentially make some noise, there's two. The Detroit Pistons. They're big, they're athletic, they're young. I think their shooting can get in the way, but they shoot well at times. Cade Cunningham proved me wrong, and I know I didn't have the podcast going at this time, but I didn't think he was going to be what he became this year. He is a monster, so look out for him. He probably should be in the MVP discussion just because of where Detroit was to where they are. But most improved player, maybe not, because maybe not. But we'll get into awards on a different episode. But Detroit's an under the radar team. Miami can beat Cleveland. And you heard it here first, and I might be the only person that believes it, but Miami can definitely beat Cleveland. Trust me, they could beat Cleveland. I don't think it's going to take us getting super hot or anything like that. Watch Sunday. Miami is going to give Cleveland a good game. I think I saw the betting spread is like 12.5 points. Take Miami for the spread if you're a betting person, because I guarantee you they're not going to lose by 13 points or more. So biased, maybe, but don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. But which play-in team, since we're talking about play-in teams, do you guys believe can make some noise in this playoffs? Unbiased me would say Golden State. Golden State has playoff Jimmy in playoff Jimmy mode, and Steph is ready. Draymond is ready. The problem with Golden State, I think whatever is going on with Jonathan Kuminga is probably messing up some little chemistry. So I don't think they'll get all the way. But if there was a team that could make it this year from the play-in to the finals, I would pick them. Golden State, hands down. I believe they would be the ones that would go on this Cinderella run, if you want to call it a Cinderella. They're not a Cinderella team. A Cinderella team in this situation would probably be Miami, because we don't necessarily have a superstar on our team right now, even though Tyler Hero and Bam are basically on their way. But that would be a true Cinderella run. But I mean, you're talking about Miami getting through Cleveland, either Milwaukee or Indiana, and probably Boston towards the end. So if they do all that, that is definitely Spo should just go to the Hall of Fame immediately if that happens. Injuries to look out for, obviously the Dame Lillard in Milwaukee. Milwaukee could probably get past Indiana without him, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Indiana's kind of tough, but they play terrible defense outside of Miles Turner and his rim protection, but I'm going to need a little bit more than that, and he could be in foul trouble dealing with Brook Lopez and Giannis anyways. So damn, I feel bad for Dame though. But that's really the biggest one. That's the biggest injury that could make or break a series. Milwaukee could easily lose. Giannis is out there basically alone, and they're old. Did you guys even remember that Kyle Kuzma was on the team? I haven't heard his name in since the trade. So that says it all right there for me. But let's get into some of these matchups. Like I said, Miami and Cleveland. I'm not gonna get too much into that one. First, number 10 seed to make the playoffs. If I had to pick a first round, probably pick Cleveland. If I'm being unbiased, I don't want to say it, but I'll take Cleveland. They'll probably win the series in 5 or 6 games, and I hate admitting it, but so we're not even going to loom on that too much. Miami did good to make the playoffs. I think we showed that we have a young team that if we add a veteran like a Kevin Durant, we could probably make it to the finals and stuff like that. But I honestly hope they don't. I hope they stay young, maybe take the Oklahoma City and Houston formula and maybe even the Orlando formula and just build with what you have and just get pieces that fit the team. And I think they will have a outstanding future. But we'll take Cleveland in that first series, 5 or 6 games. But I hate saying it. Orlando, Boston. I think this will be really entertaining. Jaylen Brown has been getting shots in his knee. Not sure what the injury is. I missed that, but he's been getting shots in his knee. So clearly he's not 100%. Jason Tatum's going to do his thing. Porzingis, he's been hooping, probably not playing at 100%, but he's been balling. But the Celtics are deep. Outside of starting five, they still got Cornette, who's been playing great off the bench. Peyton Pritchard's been balling. They still got Hauser. So Boston's going to be fine. I don't think Orlando is quite that deep to deal with that. But Paola and Franz Wagner are the truth. And I think they'll make it interesting. But I'll take Boston and man. I'll take Boston in either 5 or 6, probably 6, but I think Orlando could probably get 1 game at home. I don't see them getting any in Boston. So with that being said, it's probably more like 5, but give me Boston in 6 for that one. And then let's go on to the Knicks and Pistons. This one, and I have a thing in here in my notes. This one is going to get somebody fired, and probably Tom Thibodeau. Excuse me if I said his name wrong. But Tom Thibodeau is probably going to get fired because of this series because I do believe that the Pistons are going to beat the Knicks. The Knicks should win, but Thibodeau's going to play his guys heavy minutes. They're going to be tired as hell. They're deep, at least. Are they deep? The Knicks play about 7 deep, 8 deep. I mean, that's pretty much playoff standard anyways, but give me Detroit in 7. I'm not going to go for the Nova Knicks, and I just don't see it. Now, if Cat turns himself into a two-way player for this series, then the Knicks will probably beat them pretty good, but I don't see it. Give me Detroit in 7. Detroit in 7. Put it on your bet slip. You probably win some money. If you do, send me some. Detroit in 7. That's my pick for that one. And then we'll go back to Indiana and Milwaukee. And for this one, I'm going to take Indiana and probably 6. Dame's not there. I know he's not on his blood thinners anymore, and I'm not sure how that's going to work with him ramping back. I know he has been practicing. So, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with him ramping back up and getting into game shape. And I don't think he's going to have enough time to do that, or if he even plays in the first round. So with that being said, give me Indiana in 6. And could be, if it goes to 7, I'll probably take Milwaukee because Giannis will probably do what he did in the finals a few years ago and give you like one of those 15 games and something like that, or a 40-point triple-double. But as of right now, as it stands today with no games played, I'll take Indiana in 6. So moving on to the West, let's start with the number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies. Shea is probably going to win the MVP, but like I said, we'll get into the awards later. If Memphis plays how they played Golden State, they'll get swept. This will be really quick. It'll be over before next weekend or next Saturday, because that's probably when the game 4 is, how they break the games up and whatnot. So this series, Oklahoma and Memphis, will be over quickly if they play how they played Golden State. Now, if Memphis played how they played Dallas, I'm not real sure because Dallas didn't have a point guard. They had Najee Marshall playing point guard. They just kind of threw a team out there. Anthony Davis got hurt in the game with his groin, so Memphis may not even be real in this situation. Give me OKC in 5. I'll give Memphis one game and maybe at home, but OKC is more than likely going to beat Memphis pretty quickly. And Zach Edey surprised me. I think he could win Rookie of the Year, but it's probably going to be Steven or Stephon Castle from San Antonio. But he surprised me. I didn't think he would be as decent as he is, but now we're getting playoff ball and it's different. The game slows down, so that could be an advantage for Memphis with the big guys they have, him and Jackson or whatnot, because it's usually there's a lot of half court. But if Oklahoma could get the game at their pace, Memphis doesn't stand a chance. They'll probably be over in 4 or 5 games pretty quick. Moving on to Denver and the Clippers. I know I didn't say it earlier, but this probably is going to be one of the better series. Russ going back to play against the Clippers. That'll be interesting. With all the drama that happened or supposedly happened or that had a role with him in it or whatnot, who knows, with the playing time and Mike Malone and all that, but all that's in the past now. So with all that said, Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He should be the MVP, but they're probably going to give it to Shea. But Jokic is the MVP. Shea should have got it last year. Jokic deserves the MVP this year. Jokic should be the MVP this year. Jokic is a monster. Best player in the NBA, easily. With that being said, I do believe he can drag his team past. Is Jamal Murray playing? Does anybody know? I know they were holding him out. I'm not sure if he's hurt or if they were arresting him to get him ready for the playoffs, but depending on Jamal Murray, because he's a different player in the playoffs, he turns into like superstar Jamal Murray. If he plays and with the way Jokic is playing, Denver will beat the Clippers in 6 games, maybe 5, because Zubac is going to be in foul trouble, and I don't know what the Clippers have at big man after that. So, and Jokic going to play 40 minutes plus. So, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. And the Clippers, fortunately, Kawhi got through the season healthy, so that's great. But is he going to stay healthy? We've seen how this thing kind of pans out, and we've also seen James Harden disappear in the playoffs as well. So give me the Nuggets in 6, and those are my reasons why. And they're all obviously historical reasons, and the Clippers have been on fire lately, but history tells me not to trust them, so I'm not going to trust them. So I'm going to take Denver in that series, and that's really why. I guess I'm going to save the Lakers for last. Let's go ahead and get through this Golden State and Houston series, where I do believe Houston will win. I'm not on the side of the professionals on TV and the people who are like, oh my God, the inexperience and et cetera, and all that. Houston can't win. Houston can beat them. Houston's bigger than them. So if it turns into a half-court game, a rebounding game, putbacks, all that stuff like that, Houston has Steven Adams, Sengun, Smith. They're all like 6'10" or better. Does Golden State even have a 7-footer on their team? I'm not sure how tall Quentin Post is, but outside of that, do they have a 7-footer on their team? One that's good. Steven Adams is going to give you defense and he's going to be tough. Sengun, baby Jokic, maybe slow down with that, but he's very, very good. And who's going to guard him? And if Draymond guards him, who's going to guard? It's like it's bad matchups all the way around for Golden State, in my opinion. Yes, they can win this series. They're veterans. We clearly seen what Jimmy's done with Miami and dragging less than teams to finals, and Steph is Steph. So yes, Golden State can win, but I don't think it's just, oh, they're so experienced, they're going to just knock the Rockets out of here. I think I've seen like 6 and 7 and stuff like that, which is fair. But if Golden State wins, I think it'll take 7. I don't think it'll be 6. Because I think Game 6 would, I mean, they would be playing at home, which means they would have to take 2 games in Houston, which obviously is possible. But even in a scenario where everybody wins their home games, Houston wins in 7. They're young, but they have a great coach, Udoka. So personally, I would take Houston in 5 or 6, probably 6 more than likely, because of the experience of Jimmy and Steph alone should be able to get Golden State at least 2 games. Then you have the Kaminga situation that nobody knows what's going on, and I think they're probably going to need him against Houston, but we'll see. So in my opinion, I would take Houston in 6 in that series. And I'm not doing the entire playoffs right now. I'm going to probably do that in a different video. Right now, I'm just breaking down the first round and who I feel is going to get out of the first round. But I will get into a different video where I'm going to get into the entire predictions of the playoffs and who I think is going to win a championship, which I'll probably tell you by the end of this video who I think is going to win. But I'll draw the path out in a different video. But now we'll finish with the Lakers and Minnesota. And this is not a tipping point to my who I think is going to win the championship, by the way. But I just wanted to save this one because LeBron is the GOAT. I saw a tweet, and I'll try to add that in later, where Magic Johnson said, "Oh, Minnesota could have the Lakers number, not have their number, but basically the Lakers could be in trouble because Anthony Edwards could be the guy." And I agree. I'm not quite sure who's going to guard Anthony Edwards yet. When I truly break down the matchups, you know who the starting 4 is going to be, but who's that 5th person who is more than likely going to guard him? Because the Lakers are going to roll out Jackson Hayes, LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. So whoever that 5th person is probably going to be the person that guards Anthony Edwards. So it could be Ruri, it could be or Vanderbilt. So they're probably one of those guys. I don't see them starting. They're not going to start Connect. They're not going to start Gabe Vincent or anything like that. That doesn't really help them on defensive end. So it'll probably be a committee thing. I could see some like light doubles once he drives and stuff like that. They'll probably let him shoot 1-on-1 and stuff like that and hope that he misses. But so with that being said, LeBron, Luka, it's the first round. Luka is going to destroy Rudy Gobert if he gets on him. LeBron the same. They're probably going to make it to where he's a liability and probably going to pull him out the game. And if they do that, then they're going to be small because Naz Reid is their next biggest guy as far as centers go. And you put that against what the Lakers could do, because if the Lakers take Jackson Hayes out, they can always throw Ruri and Vanderbilt in, and Vanderbilt could definitely guard Naz Reid. So then you're playing this game, this small ball game. And in my opinion, in a small ball game with no Hayes, no Gobert, because it's probably going to come to that, the Lakers just have a better team in that scenario. Because on the flip side, you're probably going to put Anthony Edwards on Luka more than likely, or AR. What's his name? The small forward. Can't think of his name right now. Number 3. Can't think of his name. I apologize. McDaniels. He'll more than likely guard LeBron or Luka. So then it's just like, well, who's going to guard AR? Is it going to be Mike Conley, Nickeil Walker-Alexander? You know what I'm saying? So, and Ruri's not a scrub. So I think the Lakers will probably win this in like 5 games. Honestly, I don't think this is going to be anything to worry about. This is another series that could potentially be a sweep if the Lakers take it serious. And I know LeBron tweaked his groin last week, so I know that's probably going to maybe take a little factor, but I haven't seen anything about it show up anywhere, so it's probably nothing. So OKC could be a sweep. Cleveland could be a sweep of Miami, obviously. The Lakers could sweep Minnesota. Those are the potential sweeps, in my opinion. But in going back to the Lakers, I think the Lakers probably win this series in 5 games. I'll give Anthony Edwards 1 because he's great. He's going to be great, but I just think the Lakers have too much for Minnesota in this particular series, so I just don't see how they stretch it to 6 and 7 games unless somebody gets hurt, nicked, or something like that. So that's just not something that I'm seeing. Gonna get you guys out of here in a minute. I got some little discussion prompt questions or whatever, but they're for you, but I guess they're for me too. Which play-in star do you guys think would be the most likely to swing a series and play in? So it's only two, in my opinion. It would either be no, play-in star, swing a series. I'll be quick on this one. Give me Tyler Hero. If Tyler Hero does the 37-7 and get close to that like he's been doing with the production of Bam and Ware and the rest of the team, and if we can, our defense is fine. So if our offense can stay consistent, watch out Cleveland. I promise you. If Miami can be consistent offensively, they will beat Cleveland. I promise you. If they can. If not, they don't stand a chance. But if Miami can be consistent through the 7-game series offensively, I promise you they will beat Cleveland. And with that said, this is an easy one. This goes without being said. Which coach is under the most pressure in this playoffs is Tom Thibodeau. If the Knicks lose in the first round, he is gone. Promise you. Guarantee it. The Nuggets already fired their coach. Memphis already fired their coach. So nothing to look for there. So, I mean, there's already been changes, and we know there's going to be more changes. So, I mean, that's just that. Yeah. And the most intriguing individual matchups for the playoffs, I would say in this first round, because we don't know what the rest is going to be. Most intriguing matchup, player for player, I don't have one. Maybe Jason Tatum and Paolo. But team for team, the most intriguing like individual matchups for a star player on one team and another. I would say the most intriguing one is probably Denver and the Clippers with Kawhi and Jokic, because if Kawhi stays healthy, Denver could be in trouble. And it's really just that simple. So that's probably the most intriguing matchup to me. Luka and Anthony Edwards, we saw it last year. Ja Morant and Shea will get that one. It's not really that intriguing. Nothing intriguing in any matchups in Indiana and Memphis. I mean, Milwaukee, in my opinion. The game as a whole, the series as a whole, the Knicks and the Pistons is intriguing. I think the Pistons are going to win. So I think just that series is intriguing, not any individual matchup. So I think that's probably going to be a fun series to watch just for basketball purposes. If you're just a basketball fan, I think that's going to be a series to watch, because I think there should be a lot of high level defense. And so whichever team can catch fire or just get hot offensively, I think will probably win that series. And I think it'll be Detroit. Hot takes. We're going to end it like this. Hot takes. Which team is most likely to produce an upset? The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat is the team that's most likely to produce an upset. Like I said, if they can be consistent offensively, they're going to beat Cleveland. Not can beat, they will beat Cleveland if they're consistent offensively. I know you'll probably look at this 2-7 matchup and be like, oh, what about Golden State? I don't think Golden State is a true underdog. So if they beat Houston, it's not a real upset. It would probably upset Houston and Houston fans, but it's not an upset. If Minnesota beats the Lakers aren't a complete team yet. No, they didn't get to make the trade for the center that they wanted. They got Luka, they got LeBron and stuff like that, but they're kind of just a team of people who have learned to gel together. But I don't think this is the complete roster that they want. And Minnesota, they put this team together in the offseason. They didn't want Cat anymore. They sent him to the Knicks. So not sure if that would be a true upset, but it would suck if Minnesota beat the Lakers in the first round, because I would probably lose money on that. But so and Detroit beating the Knicks, watch it happen. I'm not calling it an upset because I'm calling it, but it would definitely be an upset if if Detroit beat the Knicks, and obviously if Orlando beat Boston, which is not going to happen, it would be an upset. But going back to the original question, which team is most likely to produce an upset? If it's going to happen, it would be Miami. And which team is going to overreact to a first round loss? It was going to be the Knicks. If the Knicks lose in the first round, they're going to clean house, starting with the coach. Milwaukee, if they lose in the first round, who knows? Especially with like a lot of teams not having money and stuff like that. Kevin Durant's going to get moved this offseason because so that could get in the way of certain things. I mean, we've all seen rumors for the last 2 seasons of Giannis going to Golden State. So, but now that they got Jimmy, it's probably not going to happen unless they're trading Draymond, and that's not going to be enough money. So, the team that's more likely going to just blow it up if they lose in the first round is more than likely the Knicks or Cleveland. Or Cleveland. I'm not sure what Cleveland would blow up, though. I think Cleveland probably needs another year. And then they'll probably be where OKC is and where Boston is. And I think they could do it this year, obviously, but maybe one more year. But the Knicks, obviously, if they lose, they're blowing it up. It's over. And I've already explained that Boston's probably going to blow it up anyways because of money purposes in the offseason. So, and we'll get into that in another video. And for you guys, after seeing the play-in, what is your boldest prediction? Put that down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys' boldest prediction after the play-in, or just in general. Let me know what your boldest prediction is, and which team fan base should be the most optimistic that their team is going to be the one. And the teams with the most optimism, it should only be, in my opinion, like 3: OKC, Cleveland, and Boston. Those fans should feel pretty good. Their teams are like have separated themselves as far as like how good they are from the rest of the teams that are coming into the playoffs with them. So most optimism would be those. Maybe even Golden State as far as the first round goes, but after that, I think it'll get murky. I'm hoping to see a Lakers Golden State second round. I'm sure you guys are too, so that'll be fun. But please like, share, comment. Please comment. Subscribe. Please subscribe. Thank you for everybody who subscribed while I was away. Had some family things going on, but everything is straight now. I truly appreciate you guys for subscribing and coming and still watching videos while I've been gone. I am back now, and we will be better than ever. I made some changes while I was gone. I'm gonna try to do more discussion and bring people into the conversation because I don't want to talk at people. I'm not telling people because I don't know what I am, but I'm not going to tell people. I'm not going to talk at you. I want to hear your opinions. Let's just start a conversation. Let's do this together. Let's grow together. This is our community. So let's do it. And with that, also, this is WrestleMania weekend. Let's have a great sports weekend. This is going to be a great weekend. I don't plan on leaving my house between the NBA playoffs and WrestleMania. So this is going to be awesome. Great weekend of sports, a great weekend of basketball. I will put this up for you one more time so you see the matchups. The 1 seeds are playing tomorrow, the 2 seeds are playing today. The games for today, just so everybody knows, I think the first game today, Saturday, is what's the first game today? I think it's Indiana and Milwaukee. So that's how we're going to open the playoffs. And I think it's going to be fire. Like, let's just do it. Let's get into it. I'll be back probably tomorrow or later tonight. Going to start doing some lives, incorporating some different things into the recordings and the broadcast and the channel. So you guys will see a lot more new stuff coming up in the very, very near future. Any suggestions, please drop them. Please let me know. I love suggestions. I love comments. And thank you. Thank you again for tuning in and being with me. And let's get this playoffs rolling. Let's go Miami Heat. And let's get it.